The road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy is slowly heating up, ladies and gentlemen. We have got the first semi-final set of pool number 1, and it's going to be between Puppypaw and Zerton. The map is Dry Arabia, the first game of the best of 5. We've got, on the north corner of the map, Zerton playing in red as the English civilization. In the south corner of the map, in blue, we've got Puppypaw playing as the Delhi Sultanate. Interesting civ matchup. I do have to favour the Delhi Sultanate in this situation because it's a bit of a tricky one, actually, to be fair. On Dry Arabia, English isn't usually a civilization picked all that often, but Zerton going for the English. We've seen it before where the English have 3 main builds, it seems: a fast longbowman rush, a more of a slight eco approach into a feudal age, possibly castle age, depending what the opponent is doing, with an early wheelbarrow, which is actually what Zerton appears to be doing. And then there's a straight up fast castle, naked fast castle, which could also be an option for Zerton, but probably we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see if that's where he decides to go. The Delhi Sultanate, on the other hand, can be very aggressive in the feudal age and often spends an extended period of time in the feudal age looking to get the sacred sites and make the most of the feudal age upgrades that they get for free. And you can see wheelbarrow and efficient production being produced, or researched rather. And the really good thing about efficient production, and coming up against the English, you're going to struggle often as the English if you're going to go for a full fast longbowman rush. The issue is that the council hall does double produce effectively in terms of the rate of production of longbows. But the issue is with the Delhi Sultanate is if they wish, they can get an archery range and just supervise it with the efficient production, get a scholar garrison inside, and then effectively equals the council hall. So the Delhi Sultanate can certainly match, bang for buck, the council hall, that's for sure. Dome of the Faith being chosen as the landmark of choice for Puppypaw. Going to get those cheap scholars on the field, and does have a pretty exposed berry patch, which is going to be an issue, especially if there are longbowmen coming forward relatively quickly. We shall see how quickly Puppypaw decides to go for military in the feudal age. And he does have a decent gold pile here, but it is on the right side, relatively exposed as well, so Puppypaw doesn't have a huge amount of protection. His woodline is pretty well protected, that has to be said, covered by the TC radius, and will be a nice position there for the wood choppers to be safe. We see the farming economy starting to build up for Zerton, making for an easy transition. This is a nice idea. Getting these 4 farms in a line right next to the town centre means that this is relatively well protected, and the council hall going on the front lines. Efficient production has been completed, almost 4.5 minutes rather on the clock, and the feudal age is going to be in for Puppypaw relatively soon. Same will be said for Zerton. The scouts will be looking to deny the gold villages there, but Zerton actually pulling those villagers back and not mining any more gold. He's got his wheelbarrow, I believe, and he's got his upgrade in terms of the feudal age, so he's be pretty happy with the situation. Won't be too disheartened about being off gold. We'll need to get some gold later on in the game if he wants to get some upgrades. Going for a barracks for spearman defense. Often you see the Delhi Sultanate go for a stable, and that's exactly what's actually happening here. Puppypaw dropping a stable. Zerton would be prepared for all that. Going for the typical or kind of traditional longbowman spearman opening, it seems. We shall see if those longbows do start to pop out. 4 villagers building that council hall. It is now in. Feudal age is in for Zerton. Now rushing down the barracks to continue the production. Actually, he deletes the barracks. Okay, he decides to delete the barracks and instead goes for a double stable. So it looks like Zerton's going to be relatively aggressive here. Well, very aggressive here. That's for sure. That's actually a nice feature there because I didn't see the scout there for Puppypaw. It might have been a bit of a baiting here because if the scout was there and he purposefully let Puppypaw see that, then that would be interesting if you kind of made Puppypaw think he's going to go for a barracks. We see a villager popping back for Puppypaw. He actually built an outpost there. Does have a 2 scouts there, garrisoned. He went for double scouts here, Puppypaw. Getting a decent amount of sheep, I think, underneath the town centre. Not all that much, actually, considering he had 2 scouts. Horseman does start to pop out there from the stable. Stable and archery range, and neither of which are being supervised by a scholar, but not necessarily a problem. He's looking to go for the eco approach, getting the research times a little bit quicker by having 2 scholars garrisoned in that mosque. It's quite nice to have access to that sacred site now in the middle with the outpost there garrisoned with 1 scout. Will mean he'll have a decent amount of control of that position. Holy smokes, that horseman was just floating there for a second along the ground, gliding along the ground. Do see some horsemen out for Zerton, looking to get some control over the map on the sacred sites. Looking to swoop down on the left side, looking to sniper any scholars that might be on the field. Sanctity is on the way, 1 minute away, and then the scholars will be probably going forward. He's getting a blacksmith as well for the upgrades. And we can see now a little 1 out of 1 there means that there is a scholar garrison in there going to be double producing from the archery range to be able to match the council hall from the English. Right, Scout just having a look here for Puppypaw to find out what's going on. He sees the 2 horsemen. This is an issue actually because the Scout will be lost because the horseman will chase this down. The horsemen actually move faster, so they will chase the Scout down and Puppypaw will need to retreat to some sort of safety. Another 2 horsemen there looking to make sure that left sacred site isn't taken by Puppypaw. On the right side, relatively exposed. Scout going that way right now as we speak. Quite a lot of horsemen here on the front line for Zerton. He's actually got the double stable. Quite a nice build actually, so really doubling down on the military. Getting the farming economy, that food income needs to be high to be able to produce double stable horsemen, and he's doing just that. So it looks like it's going to be an extended feud age. So double production from the stable. The scholar there just chilling out there. Probably will go back into this archery range perhaps. There's Sanctity. Sanctity is in now, so the scholars are now on the sacred site in the middle in particular. The right side relatively open, nothing really guarding that. The left side looks like Zerton trying to make sure that this left sacred site doesn't get taken. But the horsemen are going to sweep in for Puppypaw, 3 of them. But Zerton, if he sweeps around with his 6 horsemen, he will easily be able to take a fight. And this could be a really good fight for Zerton if he takes this nice and early without Puppypaw realizing. He's going to look to engage, I suspect, when he goes round. Puppypaw keeping an eye on things. He does back off, though, nicely. And the scholar looking to get hold of the right sacred site, but does back off because he does take a lot of HP loss to the horseman. But Puppypaw has a lot of army here on the field, has got quite a few archers and 2 horsemen on the field himself. Has a central sacred site nice and secure now, moving out with the scholar there. And having 2 scholars there will be able to heal up his army and each other. So this will be a nice push here for Puppypaw to try and get access to that 3rd or the 2nd sacred site on the right side. Just building up his army before he has that assault. But on the left side, where do those horsemen go? 2 of them are back in defense. Maybe a little bit of a raiding here. That is exactly what Zerton's doing, looking to raid that wood economy. Diving in, losing 1 horseman though for the town centre. And we see now the Delhi Sultanate doing Delhi things. He's getting 1 production building of each. And going to be starting to get some spearmen on the field as well for that nice composition of army. Zerton looking to dive this right sided sacred site. Doesn't manage it. Does snipe a scholar, but that's not enough because there's a lot of army here on the field for Puppypaw. Looking to get that right sacred site. That gold trick will be really important actually for Puppypaw. Helping him on his way up to the castle age. Getting that gold income. Zerton has actually got a lot of gold income here. Got 6 villagers on that gold. Looking to get a castle age behind this. That's quite a lot of horsemen. He's still producing them as well. So that has to be brought in mind. I think Zerton is really trying to get the army on the field in the feudal age. Not letting the Delhi mass up too much without being unchecked. And there is the right sacred site that has been taken for Puppypaw. It'll be interesting to see if he drops an outpost or looks to actually wall this up. Zerton taking a lot of losses here, diving in, archers firing in, getting some free hits. But there's a lot more reinforcement for Zerton. This looks like a decent fight for Zerton, doubling down with the double stables. This is actually good because the archers won't be getting the value that he would want, but the scholars are getting lots of value, healing up the units, and 3 more horsemen do jump into the fight for Puppypaw. This looks to be quite a mixed bag, but you have to say the 2 scholars, they're doing a lot of work. They're healing each other more than anything, but they're absorbing a lot of the firepower from Zerton. Zerton backs off, he doesn't want to take the fight anymore. Feels like he's not winning that, and Puppypaw takes the advantage there with the scholars. Coming in clutch there, Zerton backing off, and that sacred site on the right is still under the control of Puppypaw, adding to the gold income. That's 300 gold per minute passively from these 2 sacred sites. Great work for Puppypaw to get that gold income. And he now has enough gold to advance to the next stage. He's lacking the food, that has to be said. But Zerton almost on the way there. Got the gold, needs a bit more food. The farming economy gathering that food incredibly fast, incredibly nicely there. And we can just see how fantastically well that Zerton has placed the farms around this starting mill. You can see he's been very methodical about it. There's 4, 8, 9, 10 farms. And you can see traditionally around a mill, if you place them all directly in a nice neat square, you can only actually get 8 farms there. You can see 10 farms being under the influence of the mill here. So really nice positioning here. This is probably a lesson to be taken if you're new to the game on how to play it or how to place the farms. This is a really nice, sort of like a H shape in a way. And we see now the right sacred site, nice and secure. King's Palace being chosen as the landmark of choice for the English civilization, which would be a double TC boom now, essentially. This acting as a town centre. And that's going to be important for the English civilization to build up the economy. A fight being taken here for Puppypaw is not a great one though. He won't want to dive in too much. There is a scholar there, but that scholar is going to be taking HP damage as well. Zerton pulling away his weak horsemen. Overall, though, decent fight. Oh, there are spearmen there. We didn't see the spearmen. Puppypaw taking a fantastic fight. I'm not sure if Zerton saw it. If he did, it's a relatively bad trade. There are 3 spearmen that did a lot of damage there. And now the horseman numbers really building up for Puppypaw. Has to be said, Zerton invested a lot into that Castle Age upgrade. And so it means that now Puppypaw has a lot more military on the field, or at least it feels like it. Let's take a look. 21 military on the field for Puppypaw, 7 for Zerton. That certainly is the case. Looks aren't deceiving in this case, because now he's going to look to secure the left sacred site, the third sacred site. Horseman pouncing on the villagers on gold. This is an issue. 3 stables are there for Zerton. Wants to get some lancers out. Doesn't have enough gold for that though. The villagers are popping out to the gold mine again. That's the age up. Puppypaw notices the age up, and now we might be able to see some aggression coming in for the Delhi. See the scholars. Well, Puppypaw has advanced to the next stage as well, going up with the House of Learning. Both players going relatively quick up to the next stage. But the difference is at this point is going to be essentially the eco upgrades versus the village count, because of course the eco upgrades are totally free for the Delhi Sultanate. Those have been coming in gradually and slowly. And for the English though, the villager count will be starting to climb. 42 villagers for Puppypaw, 44 for Zerton. Zerton getting a monastery here on the field, looking to get those relics now that he's in the Castle Age. Don't forget that the scholars just picked them up straight away. There aren't that many relics on the field anymore. Delhi Sultanate, Puppypaw doing a fantastic job. He's already got 3 in the mosque. That's super fast. The right sacred site is going to be decapped by Zerton with the 3 knights and the 4 horsemen. Will we see the Delhi Sultanate send any army there? Horsemen looking to take some villages out here on the mill, on the deer, but there is an outpost there. Won't be able to house all of these villages because there are 10 of them. Now, the English doing English things. Walling up, looking to protect the eco of the deer here. That might take on a little bit later as the game develops. This is actually a really nice position because it means that it's only the left side of his base that he needs to worry about if these walls do go up. There's a fight here on the right sacred site. The knights are going to be clearing this up, that is for sure. Zerton taking a really good fight here, really good trade. And Puppypaw losing everything on that right sacred site. Not what he's intended. Let's take a look at the military count. 10 for Zerton, 18 for Puppypaw. Puppypaw lost a lot of military there on the field. Puppypaw mixing in some spears here, looking to push out the horsemen from Zerton on the left side of the map. That right-sided sacred site does get decapped. The army immediately pushes forward for Zerton, looking to get some villager picks if you can. A lot of villagers on that front goal. This might need to be protected with an outpost or 2 because that's pretty exposed. And you just wonder, the Delhi Sultanate, will they start to move forward? Knight looking to decap the central sacred site, which will be more than enough because obviously that outpost does have 1 unit garrison inside. That won't be doing too much damage to the Knight. Knight will be very happy to just sit there, camp on that sacred site to deactivate it. But this is really smart for Puppypaw. He actually gets a scout out and puts it on the actual sacred site to delay the decapping. And that buys him some time to get his own lancer onto the field. And now he keeps hold of that sacred site. He's actually looking to capture the left sacred site with a lot of military here. Scholar doing great work here, looking to actually capture the sacred site and heal up the units. We hear more relics being picked up here. But is it for Zerton or is it for Puppypaw? I'm not entirely sure. If it's for Puppypaw, then that's going to be a bit insane. He's already got 4 already in the bag. Knight swinging around on the right side for Zerton. Things looking good. Food and gold income pretty strong here for Zerton, that has to be said. Let's take a look at the farming economy. It's really starting to boom up here. The right sided palisade walls are up and running. It looks like Zerton's the one who picked up that relic there. And will be depositing it in the monastery. But 4 relics and 2 sacred sites for Delhi Sultanate means that golden income is going to be super strong. And also, don't forget the House of Learning means that honed blades would be coming in. That's an incredibly strong upgrade where it means that man-at-arms and lancers equip a Khilji, increasing their damage by +3. That's not to be snuffed at. A lot of stone here being gathered by Puppypaw, looking for a keep drop perhaps. Would we be placing that offensively or defensively? Maybe on the central sacred side, I'm not entirely sure. Might be going super aggressive. Does have a lot of army on the field, sending the army forward, enabling to drop that keep where he wants. On the right side though, Zerton applying a lot of pressure on these berry patches. And we just need to keep an eye on these villagers where they're going for. They look to be going quite aggressive there, with 16 of them with a scholar in behind. Lancers pressurizing the gold. If Zerton gets this place keep dropped, and that's exactly what's happening. Puppypaw looking for an aggressive keep. If he puts it here, that gold is going to be denied. That's going to become a problem because then gold is going to become an issue. He does have a gold mine at the back of his base, which he has pretty safely to be able to take, but this is going to pile on the pressure. This is going to be the staging ground for Puppypaw to push on in this semi-final. Sacred Site, the last and final one, the third one has been capped for Puppypaw, so he activates the Sacred Site victory timer. And things are starting to heat up in this match. Zerton under quite a bit of pressure. If this keep goes up, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Zerton trying to get the outpost. You notice it's going up. Lancers are just going to siege down the outpost, and some of them are going to take out some of the villagers. The outpost doesn't go up. Only one spearman is not going to be enough. The keeper's going to go up. Scholar's there to heal. This is looking bad for Zerton. A lot of map control given by this. Puppypaw looking to press the issue. 17 minutes into the game. The Lancers are trying to head back for the English, but they won't make it up in time. Keep does go up, and it's going to be producing a siege workshop with a nice position to push out from. If Trebs end up on the field for Puppypaw, this could be the start of the end for Zerton's English. Played on Dry Arabia, this first game of the set. Things looking good for Puppypaw, to say the least. He's also getting a scholar in the siege workshop, so supervising this will be able to pump out those units. He doesn't have what he needs so far. He needs a bit more wood. You can see all these upgrades coming in slowly but surely, and the sacred sites nicely capped here for quite some time. The left-sided one is what Zerton's targeting, but that's actually fully walled here with 3 spearmen in there to defend. Might be looking better to try and decap the right one. Not much going in the economy for Puppypaw. Is pretty nice and safe, and this is the issue because it makes sense for Puppypaw to be aggressive here, because English, you don't want to let them go to the hyper late game, because frankly the English are pretty damn strong when it gets to that stage. But the Delhi Sultan are going to have to deal with a lot of spearmen here. Lance is going to rush in, but there's a lot of spearmen in hand. This is not a fight that Puppypaw wants to take. He backs off, rightly so. 54 villagers for Puppypaw, 71 for Zerton. Zerton certainly got the economy advantage, and this wall never got built, and that's an issue. There is the first trebuchet for Puppypaw, looking to push from this position, but Zerton does have a lot of spearmen on the field. We'll be able to push this through if it wasn't for the keep, and that is the changing decisive factor, because boiling oil will be coming through. We'll be seeing if village fortresses comes through as well after. We shall see. Getting the spring order placement instead, actually. And this is a really nice fortification for the Delhi Sultan at this point. Looking rough for Zerton, especially with the trebuchet on the field now, looking to take out the monastery first to deny that gold income. And the Lancers can't raid too much because of the spearmen, but this is a bit of a problem for Zerton, because every minute that passes, those 4 relics generating a lot of gold for Puppypaw, and a lot of pressure being invited here from Zerton. Another keep going forward. If this keep goes up, it is going to be definitely game over. It looks like it will go up, because whilst there are spearmen, I mean, it's going to be tricky actually. The spearmen will be able to do good work. It looks like Puppypaw is going to dive with the Lancers. He's going to take the risk. He's got a decent number of scholars here, 6 of them to heal the Lancers, and this is a problem. The monastery has gone down. Zerton has lost the relic gold there. The Lancers are going to dive in with the scholars behind healing up. This keeper is going to go on behind him, and this is going to be a really bad position, because a lot of the eco will be idled. The town centre here on the front line being surrounded by keeps. The scholars here doing great work. Villagers being pulled. Spearmen trying to do their work as well, but this is going to be hard. This is going to be a tall order for Zerton to push this back. Puppypaw pushing in his lead is starting to get really even closer, and now post goes forward. This is looking to be a tall order for Zerton, maybe too tall to be pushing this back, and it seems that way as he taps out on the first game of the set between Puppypaw and Zerton. Puppypaw uses Delhi for the first win of the set on Dry Arabia. He pulls ahead with the first game and commands this position, looking to build on this in game number 2. Let's see if he can build on this, or whether Zerton can reply with a win. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between Zerton and Puppypaw. This is the semi-final. I'm going to give you guys a bit of orientation. We didn't go through it on the beginning of the first match, but going through it now, let's take a look. This is where we're at. We're in pool number 1, match letter E. At the top there, Puppypaw versus Zerton. This video is going to be followed up by Hut versus Vortex for pool 1 semi-finals, and the winners of these 2 sets will be going to face off against each other in the finals, which will be a hefty prize for the winner, because the winner ultimately of each pool will have a ticket to the main event for Red Bull Wololo Legacy. I'm going to be continuing with pool 2 as well, of course, but today focusing on match E for pool 1, Puppypaw versus Zerton. The second game now we are underway is going to be the Holy Roman Empire for Zerton, playing in blue in the southeast corner of the map on 4 lakes. On the northwest corner of the map in red is Puppypaw as French. A really interesting civ matchup here. Both very strong civilizations. French with their feudal age aggression, which is so strong with their knight play. And with the Holy Roman Empire, again, a very popular civilization on 4 lakes. And with their economy, can be very, very special in getting up to the castle age relatively quickly. You do see the French docking here quite early here. Fishing ships already coming out for Puppypaw. Also a fishing ship coming out for Zerton here on the right side, the dock being placed. And Puppypaw scouts that out. Has quite a few sheep here. This is actually quite a nice spot here for Zerton rather. Because if you could wall this area up, or at least, yeah, I mean, even actually, to be fair, where he's positioned is actually quite nicely wallable, has to be said, because if he walls up this side, across to the shore, that's going to give him a lot of map space. This woodline in a really nice position here, and the woodline on this position here, blocking this access point as well. I don't think a scout can get through that. That's actually a really nice spot for Zerton, it has to be said. Puppypaw, on the other hand, doesn't have such a luxurious woodline to offer him a walling potential. That would be a massive wall for him to get through and build. But Zerton has quite a lot of potential with this woodline being here. Yeah, quite a lot of villagers on wood as expected for Zerton because he's going for the fishing ships. Same will be said about Puppypaw side of things. Quite a few villagers in gold, 5 of them. That does suggest there's going to be a fast castle for the Holy Roman Empire. The French are going to look to try and deny that with the knights that come out onto the field. We shall see because, I mean, the thing is, the French have gone onto water as well, so their feudal age will be delayed somewhat from what you standardly expect on a full land map. 2 scouts being brought back by Zerton to try and protect those villagers. And plenty of sheep getting pulled to the town centre for Puppypaw. That's really important for the French to get that food eco nice and running, but of course that's happening anyway with the fishing ships that are on the field. 4 of them on that lake in the north. There are 5 fishing ships in the south here for Zerton. That's partly because of the fact the prelate is doing great work to supervise or at least inspire the villagers. Scouts are fighting each other in the south forest. Zerton pulling his scouts back, looking to fight a different day. 3 villagers here waiting to be able to build that school of cavalry, which is now being built. Another one gets pulled. 4 is the magic number for Puppypaw to get that school of cavalry up to the feudal age. And Ark and Chapel being used by Zerton in a very nice spot there, supervising or will be influencing the villagers on wood, berries, but it doesn't access the gold actually. That's quite a bit of an issue. Is we're getting the food there as well. It's a bit of a tricky one. Does have 5 villagers on the gold though, so should have enough to get to the next stage. Scouts looking to harass his villagers again. Still, a decent position for that Ark and Chapel. We have seen better on 4 lakes, it just depends on the spawn. Prelate being brought out to heal up the villagers. And there's one really low HP one. You have to be careful not to lose that one. That's not the one being healed. Yep, good micro there. Zerton does fix that. He starts to heal up the villager that's being hurt there. And will be living, despite the scouts constantly swiping at them with their swords. Now Zerton looking to harass Puppypaw's villagers on gold. Only 2 villagers on gold for Puppypaw, which is relatively interesting. It does suggest that maybe it's not necessarily knights or too many knights on the field that will be coming out. And scouts just being annoying on the dock, not doing too much damage. A 3rd villager coming out though for Puppypaw to go out to that gold position. But this is actually quite key because the prelate has been healing rather than inspiring this whole time just because of these 2 scouts. So very, very good value there for Puppypaw. There is the feudal age for Zerton. And I'm sure Puppypaw is going to be getting there. He is there now already, queuing up some knights and getting an archery range as well. So we've got the typical French opening and French army composition of knights and archers going for maybe a second town centre with some stone. We're sending 2 villagers so far. Maybe outpost going forward with an outpost rush. I think we've seen Puppypaw do that before with the French. I'm not entirely sure, but we shall see. Because if he does get map control, using 2 villagers on stone will enable him to get arrow slits for any outpost he puts forward. We'll see if he decides to do that. An outpost there going on the right side for Puppypaw now. That's exactly what's happening. Puppypaw is going for outposting behind this. This is not something that Zerton will notice. I don't think he sees this at all. That's actually quite a big deal because that offers a lot of control of that situation. It's a staging ground for Puppypaw to push on forwards from. Spearman does come out looking to try and push these scouts away, and that will be successful in happening. But the outpost going there now with the 2 villagers on stone means that arrow slits will come in relatively soon. As you can see now, it's going for the berries there. This is the staging ground. This is where the knights are going to come in. Knights are going to get a charge attack there, baiting the spearman with the scouts there. There was a brace there actually on the knight. Knight didn't get the damage that he wanted to. There is a prelate there healing as well on the west side. Scout just being annoying. We'll be getting a lot of TC fire though. garrisoned, Puppypaw garrisoned in, and that scout will go down there. So vision is lacking now for Zerton on the front line. Looking to get a defensive outpost. We'll lose one villager at least to the night, maybe even two. Nice. The villagers do get pulled back. There are two spearmen there looking to push that back though. So the villagers will be able to build the outpost, but are still being harassed. Archers there in the line as well. Two knights now. Now this is looking promising for Puppypaw. Should be able to get good value. The charge attack, losing another viol now. That's actually pretty painful for Zerton. Zerton dropping the villager count. 32 for Zerton, 33 for Puppypaw. 33 apiece actually at the point. That's actually kind of interesting. It's probably because of the fishing ships, but don't forget the town centre for the French should be running faster. The outpost does go up, and that will be able to be repaired by emergency repairs as time goes on. So the outpost rush or creep kind of is halted there. That poses a problem though for that secondary gold, so it looks like Zerton will need to find the gold from elsewhere. Once the primary one runs out at least. Oh, he's losing villagers. Is that outpost ranging it? That chap is unfortunately very much dead. Okay. Zerton looks almost close to get up to the castle age. What's typically expected as the Holy Roman Empire. Just needs a bit more food, a bit more gold, and then he'll be shortly on his way up. Looking to get a villager there on the left side. That's Puppypaw. Looking to get a sneaky dock on that primary pond here on the south. There's a lot of fishing ships here to be denied if he can do it. Villager starting to build the dock, but actually the Zerton notices this. He sends out a villager as well, looking to try and wall this up. If it doesn't get the walls up in time, spearmen are going to harass those knights. There is one archer. Looks like Zerton should be able to push this back, but the villager should be able to get the dock up for Puppypaw in time. Possibly there is a scout which is relatively weak. Villager goes down for Zerton. The knights did a charge attack. The knights can take out the scout, which they will. And this is a good position. There are quite a few spearmen. The dock probably will go up. Maybe the villager will die. The dock goes up just in time for Puppypaw. That's actually huge because that means now Zerton will need to invest in some army here. So a galley coming out. That'll certainly help his position there to defend his fishing ships. Things heating up, that's for sure. 1-0 to Puppypaw. Zerton will want to get a win under his belt to pull up a equalising score and to be able to build on from there in this best of 5. Won't want to let it go to 2-0 because then that will be match point, and then it will need a reverse sweep for Zerton if that happens. That would be putting him under a lot of pressure. Villager getting caught out there on the wood line. A bit of dancing around. They're not entirely sure where to go, but Zerton does pull them a bit closer towards his stables. He's got double stable at the moment, producing horsemen. Hasn't opted to go to the castle age. In fact, he's actually committing Zerton, playing as a Holy Roman Empire, to the feudal age. I'm not sure how I feel about that because that outpost up there might go there if he go up if he's not realizing. He doesn't see it. That is so unfortunate for Puppypaw. He doesn't see that at all. This is a great placement because the walls have the line of vision. And he just doesn't see that outpost going up. That's actually a pretty big deal, especially with the arrows that's coming in. It's going to put some pressure on that wood line. And Puppypaw looking to be very aggressive here, getting a lot of map control with these outposts. Arrows that's coming in as well. And the horseman now notice it. Might be trying to snipe the villager. Does get a good charge attack, but holy smokes, that outpost nearly goes up. There's a lot of horsemen there on the field though, so does have to back off Puppypaw. Lots of spearmen on the field as well. Zerton really doubling down on the field edge aggression. We'll be looking to siege down that outpost. I'm not sure how I feel about that because it does have arrow slits, so there will be casualties. But he's sending everything, 8 spearmen as well, so the outpost will go down. We'll lose a horseman or 2 though in the process. There's one there. If there's focus firing, he might lose another horseman. But yeah, that's not happening. That horseman does survive a low HP. Now the villagers there and the archers will die. The outpost rush is pretty much denied for now. And now Zerton can look to build up his economy. Maybe look to get up to the castle age relatively soon. But it might be in fact Puppypaw that gets there because he's got the superior food count but is lacking on gold. He's actually going for a second archery range, so probably not, and a barracks himself. So yeah, both players doubling down the feudal age, that's for sure, for the time being. Zerton now cycling. That upgrade to the fortification just came in time. Horsemen are looking to siege us down alongside the spearmen. Arrow slits as well as a knight being garrisoned in there, so that outpost is going to do a lot of damage. This is going to be rather costly for Zerton. He's going to lose a horseman there, probably a second as well. And yeah, another scout adding to the mix. Yeah, looks like it's going to be second horseman down. It'd be interesting if you focus fire on this horseman because this is a low HP horseman. Second horseman goes down and looks to be a third as well. Quite costly and expensive sieging down of this, but I suppose it's less expensive than a ram. Still losing a lot of HP on these units. Another spearman will possibly go down before the end, but it doesn't. Knight pops out, takes a really bad fight. Obviously can't get out of there in time. Alright, but Zerton looking great on the food count. On the west side, there is a secondary town centre for Puppypaw. That's a nice expansion. Looking to wall up as well and secure that position. That's going to be important because the French town centres do work faster. Let's take a quick look at the villager count because it's 48 for Zerton and 52 for Puppypaw. So that town centre probably only went up recently. But as the game goes along, that eco will start to build up for Puppypaw. That's only going to be positive for him, but that food count is really starting to climb for Zerton. Holy moly, just needs a bit more gold and going up to the castle age himself relatively soon. Possibly with the Regnitz Cathedral. We'll have to see if that's what he decides to do. Okay, French Royal Knights being pushed back by the spearmen. Okay, things relatively quiet here. Look at that food count for Zerton. Pretty insane, actually. There's the age up coming up. It will be the Regnitz Cathedral, as we thought, for the Holy Roman Empire. Looking to send more villagers to rush that up. 11 in total. Quite a lot of knights there on the field for the French though. Spearmen looking to back off because there are archers as well. The archers coming from Puppypaw looking to snipe those spearmen. If he does, the knights will have free reign here. Horsemen going to cycle through on the right side for Zerton. Looking to see if they can get some damage on the north. But probably won't be able to. The knights are starting to really build up in numbers. Looking to take the fight. Looking to push the gold villagers off gold for Zerton. That's going to be a problem because even if he does get to the castle age, he's going to need that gold income to be able to produce anything he wants to in the castle age. And this is a strong push by Puppypaw. Looking strong here. Looking to siege down the outpost. Emergency repairs goes in though. French Royal Knights diving in. Taking villagers left, right and centre. This is huge damage Puppypaw is doing because don't forget, Puppypaw behind this is on 2 town centres. 51 villagers or eco for Zerton, 63 for Puppypaw. That's slowly starting to build up, and the outpost is starting to be sieged by the Royal Knights. Emergency repairs coming in clutch though. Certainly going to delay things from the outpost perspective going down, but the outpost probably will be destroyed by the time the renewal of the emergency repairs comes in. Yeah, it does look to be the case. 4 villagers will be going down when they pop out. The archers are going to be sniping them down. The knights are charging into them as well. This is going from bad to worse. The villagers do pop out now. Archers are looking to snipe them down. Actually, only picks off 2. Yeah, they will be going down. Possibly. Oh, 2 survive. Actually, that's pretty impressive that 2 survived. The archer's going to focus fire on the spearmen. Knights cycling back. And on the west side of his base. Looking to try and get hold of the relics, but it's a problem for Zerton because it doesn't have the map control. Looks like Puppypaw. Wait, whoa, hang on there. Where's the wololo? Holy moly, right into the base of Zerton. Does pick up a relic. Doesn't get any conversions though, I'm afraid. And he's going to deposit that relic into the Regnitz Cathedral to tank up 300 gold per minute. But knights are diving the town centre. They could take a really bad fight. This is not a great fight with Puppypaw. There's a lot of spearmen here. Trying to back away there. Does lose a knight. And loses a second knight there. And possibly even a third. Oh, the relic comes out actually again for some reason. Gets deposited, but the monk does get... relic does get sniped. Backs off with 5 knights there. Zerton pushes that away quite effectively. A little group of horse archers, or horsemen rather, for Zerton, looking to secure that position. Get scouting intel just in case there's an expansion on the right. Late. There's another wololo going on the left side. Might not be able to get it. Who won't be able to? The spearmen poke him to death. Zerton struggling to get the relics in. It does get 1 in so far. That's certainly going to help the economy, but the village count must be rising for Puppypaw. 48 for Zerton, 75 for Puppypaw. Puppypaw has got such a huge amount of eco lead. Feud age for French is incredibly strong, and he's looking to stay there for quite some time, continuously producing military on the field. Trying to get another outpost in the gold. This is a key part of the fight because Zerton will want to protect this position. He needs that gold income. Is struggling for the gold despite having the relic in the Regnitz Cathedral. Okay, but it looks like Puppypaw has enough gold for the castle age, lacking on the food. Obviously spending a lot of the food on the knights that are being healed up with chivalry here. Yeah, Puppypaw just looking to keep Zerton back at home, not wanting to let his military run out. Archers are going to snipe down the spearmen. Spearmen fighting the spearmen. Knights think about getting a charge attack, but they think better of it. They will now look to surround the spearmen. There's lots of spearmen go down for Zerton. Zerton losing critical numbers here. Zerton got relatively less military on the field. Only 15 on the field, 30 for Puppypaw. Double the military. Now stables and barracks going down for the Holy Roman Empire. Puppypaw looking to push on again. These outposts don't have any arrow slits or springboard emplacements. One villager, not a single villager goes down there. But the outpost will be sieged relatively quickly. Probably emergency repairs will be used. We shall see if he gets it in time. There it is. There is the emergency repair, as you can see. Knight's being pulled back now. He doesn't want to do too much here, Puppypaw, before he is able to advance to the next stage, because he is getting there. We shall see if he goes up with the Royal Institute. I suspect that's the case. But he may be going for the Guild Hall. Let's double check that. It is actually, in fact, the Guild Hall, just in case it goes for the long game. There's Guild Halls set up to gold in the initial instance for Puppypaw. Okay, Lancer numbers are really, or Knight numbers are really starting to build up for Zerton, taking a good fight here with the Horsemen as well, clearing up some of the Knights that are left behind. French Knights for Puppypaw looking to put on some pressure, getting a charge attack on villagers, and probably now going to back off now. Now that is in the castle age, we'll look to get the upgrades. There we can see upgrading to veteran Knights and getting cantled saddles as well. Yeah, 92 villages for Puppypaw, really getting ahead on the economy, and especially now being in the castle age, his army is going to be strong as well. There we are, the veteran Royal Knight upgrade is in place. We're getting the veteran spearmen and also the veteran archers too. Looking to be a strong composition of army here for Puppypaw, looking to cycle around on the right side, deny the stone, and that seems to be the case. That's what's happened. Puppypaw looking to push this stone villagers back, and that's exactly what's happened. The spearmen are going to take a fight against the opposite red spearmen, but this is a big fight here. Archers in the background focusing on the spear, and that's going to be the difference. You feel like Puppypaw is taking a relatively good trade with the archers being an addition, because the archers are focusing on the spearmen. Don't forget, Puppypaw has spearmen of his own, and the fight looks to be a key one. This could decide the outcome of the game, but actually Zerton pulling ahead. You can see the knight numbers really putting it. That's actually rather surprising, especially with the upgrades coming in for the French. But in any case, Zerton's numbers are starting to dwindle, and the archers are being able to take out some of the horsemen in particular relatively even, but the reinforcements are coming in for Zerton. That's one thing to bear in mind. And looks like actually Puppypaw just about wins that cleanup, which is rather impressive, especially with the level of reinforcements that are flooding in for Zerton to the fight. Puppypaw will be happy with that trade because he will feel confident that he's ahead on villagers, but what he won't want to do is let Zerton get up to the Imperial Age with the Palace of Swabia, because if that happens, that could become a problem with that villager printer rather. Looks like blacksmith upgrades are now coming in for Zerton. That was the issue. That's what let Puppypaw win a lot of those fights, because he does have blacksmith himself. More stables going down for Puppypaw. Actually, archery rangers to accompany the stables. Okay, Zerton's had enough. He has actually finally started to wall up this position. We discussed that at the beginning of the game, how that could offer him a lot of map control, or at least protection. It's a nice position there. He's going to get himself into being able to have that gold protected finally. And that outpost, how it started for Puppypaw, shows the map awareness that Puppypaw had, and how strategically important that this wall is going to be. And an outpost here on this wood line as well. Nice sort of defensive position for Zerton. He's actually securing his base quite nicely here. And he's starting to push out with knights and spearmen now that he's got his base secure. He can finally push out. Actually, probably the first time that he's able to push out here. And we see an RBWL switch for Puppypaw. That's going to be an important switch. That's going to do a lot of damage to the armored units for Zerton. Looking to try and get a keep down the front line is Puppypaw. That's going to be a nice position if he does get it up, and it does look like it's going to happen. There's not a lot that Zerton can do against this, because the RBWL in behind are going to look to snipe out the spearmen. The spearmen getting a couple of good hits there on the knights. And yeah, the villagers behind are going to feel quite comfortable about getting that keep up. And that offers a really good staging ground for Puppypaw to plan his next assault. Well, as we said, we have to talk about the fishing economy. One of the reasons why Zerton has such a great food economy. Look how many fishing ships he has. It's absolutely insane. 19 in his primary pond. He's also expanded on to the left. There's 8 of them there with a galley as well, a hulk rather, to protect that fishing economy. Only one pond here for Puppypaw, but it seems to be enough because he's got a lot of villagers on the ground. As you can see, defensive keep looking to be put down by Zerton, but that looks like it's going to be under a lot of pressure. That's for sure. The spearmen are rushing forward. RBWL is sniping them down, running into the castle fire. This is not ideal for Zerton, losing a lot of military there. And the villagers do pop out from the town centre again, looking to get that keep in that defensive position. That's quite important to get that keep up. Puppypaw looking to be really strong and aggressive here. has got a good position in this game, number 2. And if he can get a second game under his belt, that will really put him in prime position to win this set. We see a docking there for Puppypaw. I don't know how he got through. It's actually really key. He must have snuck away around with the villager. But now there's a Hulk there. And that's going to be doing a lot of damage. There is a galley there, but the Hulk is doing lots of damage to the fishing ship and the economy. Lots of fishing ships here, though, to be fair. There won't be too much of a dent. And there is the GG. Zerton calls it. He knows he's under pressure. Puppypaw takes the second game on 4 legs and is in prime position to advance to the finals for pool number 1 for the June monthly finals. Stick around, guys. Game number 3 coming right up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third game in the best of 5 between Puppypaw and Zerton in the semi-finals for pool number 1 for the Red to Red Bull Wololo June finals. We have got in the north corner of the map, playing in blue as Puppypaw as the Mongols, and on the west corner of the map we've got in red Zerton playing as the French. The map is Frisian Marshes, one of the aggressive maps on the map pool. And the reason for that is often the gold, which is often quite far forward. As we can see, this is Zerton's gold. It's relatively far forward and exposed. That could become an issue. Puppypaw's gold is in a bad spot as well. That's even further forward because, of course, the Mongols having to move their town centre closer to the wood line. But he does have access to the berries, which is quite nice. And the Ovu is not too far away. But the villagers have a long way to walk to get up to the gold. We do have on Frisian Marshes these lovely little shorefish patches that expansions can work in good ways to gather food very, very fast if that's the way they go for. But a barracks been put down for Puppypaw, maybe looking to push back any sort of Mongol outpost rush that could be coming from Puppypaw as well. Rather, so Zerton playing as a French, getting that barracks down, expecting maybe the outpost rush, which is kind of on the way here. It looks like it's going to be on the way here for the Mongols. It seems to be the meta play. Standard opening, outpost rush into Fast Castle with the Mongols. And it's going to come down to his defense, whether Zerton's going to be able to defend this. And he might be able to do it pretty well because he does have spearmen. But it would be the Khan that be the issue, I suspect. The spearman does come out now for Zerton. Looking to satisfy a little bit of protection here. Give a bit of cover for his villagers and look to scout out that outpost rush to see if it's coming. Let's take a look at his scouting patterns, just to see if he's keeping a scout on the eyes of that scenario. Wow, that is holy smokes, that's a lot of sheep there. 16 of them being brought back, and that's fantastic. There's 17. Add another one to the pile. That food income is going to be fantastically sustained for quite some time. Not needing him to expand too early and be able to build a lot or train a lot of units with that food for sure. Another one coming in. Holy moly, sending a scout now forward. He's expecting an outpost rush. Will it be coming his way soon? We hear the spearmen coming forward. There we are in the stealth forest. That's important to know. The stealth forest is an issue. He just doesn't see it coming in. He does see the villager there. That was relatively lucky. And Zerton will be spotting the villager. Puppypaw will probably look to bring the spearman back to defend that villager. But he doesn't see it. Zerton doesn't see the spearman. There he is. He's keeping an eye on things. Scout going forward for Puppypaw as well. So Zerton calls it. He invested in the barracks early, specifically for this position. Has 3 spearmen on the field. Looking to go to the gold now is Zerton. It's relatively far forward. 4 spearmen there. What has to be brought into consideration is that Zerton does still have 100 wood that he could invest in an outpost if he so wishes. It looks like Puppypaw is going to get his outpost there first. He starts building it with 1 villager. Will Zerton react, or how will he react is the question. 4 spearmen being brought now. 5 spearmen. Really investing into the Dark Age. Going to push this back. Puppypaw thinks better of it. Pulls the villager back. He probably is sure that he can't deal with this until at least the other spearmen come into play. And that's exactly what's happening here. 4 spearmen on the field versus 5. 2 scouts here for Zerton. Looking to push this back. Needs to be careful not to lose HP against the spearmen though. And Zerton not having any of this. He is falling behind in this set. 2-0 so far for Puppypaw. Zerton will need a reverse sweep in its best of 5 to have any chance of getting to the semi-finals and then the finals for the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy June finals. Mill going there on the forward part. Maybe looking just for wheelbarrow because it's not very common that you see players going for the berries on Frisian Marshes with the abundance of shorefish. Look at the sheep count. It's a little bit insane. Two scouts here for Zerton. Going to look to harass that gold mine, which is so far out for Puppypaw. The spearman kind of camping out the gold there, protecting those villagers. Zerton doesn't want to give up this position. Outpost rush, still not really a rush, but looking to get some good positions here in the stealth forest. Numbers wise, Zerton seems to have the advantage, and again Puppypaw has to pull back from this. We'll be having his outpost siege down, deletes the outpost. We'll get a bit of a refund on those resources. Zerton really pushing this back. Neither player even clicking out to the next stage. 5.5 minutes almost on the clock. Actually, I take that back. Puppypaw has just started to build his deer stones with good 5 villagers there, looking to get up to the next stage now. And look at that. Could you imagine that? The Mongols going up to the feudal age faster than the other opposing civilization. I haven't seen that in a while. And massive line of spearmen there for Zerton. Is spending a lot of food on the spearmen, but is going to be able to now get up to the next stage with a school of cavalry as we expect, and has a good 4 villages on gold so far. Spearmen being used by Puppypaw just to secure the villages on gold. He might lose one here actually. The scout's going to snipe one. One more hit, you fear that village will be going down, and that's the end of that villager. Good micro here for Zerton to snipe that villager. Not usually expecting to lose a villager there for Puppypaw, I suspect. Now again, the villagers are going to be moving out to gold. 4 of them. Scout for Zerton moving away from that gold position. Now, Puppypaw looking to get a lot of damage here. The spearmen are out of position. I was going to say out of control. Zerton moved his spearmen down, and Puppypaw is reacting to that. So I'm going to look to try and get the outpost up now, and that might just work because there's a lot of spearmen here. There's also the Khan and Scout as well, and the spearman for Zerton is not really in the position that they want. The spearmen rush into the gold. Holy smokes, 1 villager on 2 HP does get saved though. The spearman does come forward for Zerton. There's the age up, and looks like the villager's just going to rush away though, not going to commit too quickly. And Zerton now looking to siege down, a bit of a standoff situation. Villagers being pulled by Zerton. He doesn't want the outpost to go up, that's for sure. That's certainly the right thing to do. You don't really want the outpost to go up, especially now that Puppypaw has got feudal age, because he doesn't want the aristocrats to come in, that's for sure. Spearman on spearman. Villager's going to actually fight as well. So Zerton looking comfortable. He's actually going to lose a villager here. Oh, he just managed to survive. Pulls them back, pulls the whole army back. Doesn't want to lose too many villagers. There's 1 villager on the gold line who is being brave, but does get pulled back. Villagers get pulled back to the town centre. Spearmen get pushed onto the forward line, and there is a knight now on the field. So Zerton needs to... He's looking like he won't be able to deny this outpost. So this outpost will finally go up. There's a lot of spearmen on the field. Puppypaw building up the food economy and gold as well. Maybe looking to get up to the next stage by saving up. An outpost going on that gold vein, looking to protect that position, so to be able to establish a safe economy. A safe economy is a happy economy, and that's the way to win the game. Okay, no player expanding just yet. I suspect the sheep will be running out for Puppypaw soon, so we'll have a decision to make as to whether he goes for the shorefish or whether he invests in pastures. Outposts are starting to creep forward now. There's going to be arrow slits and placements on that one. But the primary gold is being denied for Zerton. That's an issue. It's going to be migrating south, getting a mill on the shorefish here. It's going to need to secure a gold vein though, because without gold, we won't be able to produce knights or even get to the castle age. And that becomes an issue because now these spearmen are hardened spearmen. Hardened spearmen upgraded for Zerton as well, but doesn't have the numbers here. And now the outpost rush is finally working 8.5 minutes into the game. Archer transition here for Zerton, adding to the mix. I think these guys are going to look to solidify the position on this gold vein. Maybe needing to get an outpost as well to secure. It doesn't have the wood for it though, spending all the wood he can on archers. The Khan notices it. You'll see to look to try and damage the villagers. Maybe look to bring his spears forward as well. But this is the gold that Zerton's going to be relying on for now. Gets an outpost there to try and protect it. We shall see how long he's able to protect it for. That's going to be a key part of the game. And we see 2 spearmen still being produced for Puppypaw playing as the Mongols. There's that outpost, offers a bit of protection. Okay, looks like a bit of a quiet phase of the game. 5 villagers gathering food from the shorefish very, very fast, as you can see the timer on the bottom left. Not a lot else going on. I think both players are now busy macroing, looking to get to the castle age. Although Zerton doesn't have that many villagers on gold. Actually, he does. He's got 4 or 5, actually. Puppypaw will probably get to the castle age first out of the 2. Almost there with the golden food, actually. Puppypaw having a buzzing economy. Let's take a look at the villager count. There should be an advantage for the French with the faster working town centres. That's 33 for Zerton in terms of village count. And 33 for Puppypaw as well. That's actually rather surprising. There must have been a bit of idle time. Maybe villagers lost for Zerton. Okay, Spearman for Puppypaw, looking to just cause some damage on the outpost, but the outpost does get repaired by the villagers. No arrow slits just yet. Knights are coming on the field for the French as well. Looks like Zerton looking to play this a little bit more of a feudal age push, because he's actually spending a lot of his gold, whereas Puppypaw looking to save up for that fast castle. And that's going to be important because, well, I say fast castle, but just general castle age, because if you get some lancers on the field, that will cause a lot of problem. Maybe also looking to get a prayer tent for the relics. We shall see how he plays this one. Does it go super aggressive once it gets to the next stage with probably the step out, but we shall see. There's the army for the French, now pushing forward a little bit. A lot of horsemen in the background. That's where the food is being pumped into for Zerton. Alright, quiet phase of the game. Okay, there is the age up, going up with the step redoubt, being built with quite a few villagers. Is that 11 or 14? 11 of them. Looking to get that castle age time nice and quick. And quite a smooth play there, I suspect, because once he does get up the castle age, he's going to have to be careful, be defensive for a while. As we've said before, you're probably at your most vulnerable when you age up, because you've invested resources rather into the age up rather than army. And it also acts as a signal to your opponent to say, well, hang on, they need to do something quick and they need to do something fast. They need to make some decisions about whether to attack or not. The good thing about the Mongols is that when he does get to the castle age, he will be able to double produce using the ovary. No stable there. So maybe looking to have man-at-arms, that is the case. Not double producing, where he is, from one from each barracks. It looks like Zerton going to try and siege down the ovary. He's got quite a lot of units there. Should be able to pull it off, actually. Not the right unit composition for Puppypaw. He's going to have to give up this ovary. But it will be probably rebuilding that once it gets a bit of control again. But it won't be able to double produce at this stage with the ovary. Puppypaw loses that ovary pretty quickly. Okay, bit of an expansion here on the right side. Puppypaw looking to get hold of that gold. This is where he's focusing his attention to. 2 outposts there. 8 villagers, so he would be able to garrison all of them if he's under pressure. And the army just testing the waters there for Zerton. Doesn't commit though. Okay, Zerton's still spending his gold, looking to stay in the feudal age for a little bit longer. Now looking to dive the economy there. And Zerton still harassing that gold line, looking to deny those villagers and idle them for as long as he can. He's still in the feudal age, Zerton, fighting up against a mixed army. There are a couple of man-at-arms there for Puppypaw, the castle age unit, and that's going to do a lot of damage against the spears. The signal maneuver used by the Khan to push back the army from Zerton. Zerton needs to pull back now. It does look like Zerton will need to get up to the castle age himself to be able to continue the sustained attack, because there are man-at-arms on the field. Castle age upgrades coming in for Puppypaw relatively quickly. Hardened Spearman just for now, not veteran, but I'm sure that will be happening relatively soon. Man-at-arms being produced. That will be the issue that Puppypaw will be able to push forward with. Zerton will need a response. Again, looking to raid that gold income with the knights, just ducking and diving, not necessarily committing. But you just get the feeling that Zerton doesn't have enough villagers on gold. He only has 12 at the moment, but producing expensive units in the form of knights. Getting chivalry as well at the moment. Needs to heal up those knights before he can take an effective fight. Does lose a knight there, I'm afraid. And the gold income is looking pretty sustainable here for Puppypaw at the moment, with 2 outposts and the castle age army to protect. So Zerton will need a bit of time to be able to build up that gold supplies to get up to the castle age. In the meantime, outpost going there on the forward Ovu position. Knights get the charge attack, looking to take an effective trade with the man-at-arms. There's quite a few of them. The archers will absolutely tickle the man-at-arms. This is not a fight that you can take as Zerton. You feel just the castle age upgraded units are going to be strong for Puppypaw, but Zerton diving in, he feels like he's pressured to do so. I don't know if this is a good fight. It doesn't seem like it. And it feels like Zerton's going to lose a lot of his army here. Going to be back to square one to produce his army. The Knights are going down. Man-at-arms are too strong as castle age units. A lot of them on low HP. But again, they take a great fight. A great trade. Archers there as well. Are veteran archers for the Mongols as well. So that's going to be pushing that back. And Zerton military numbers now is really struggling. Only 5 on the field compared to the 17 for Puppypaw. Puppypaw now going to push the issue. Zerton's needing to defend his position quite heavily, and now he can't really afford to go up to the next stage because he needs units on the field. This is the issue. I'm not sure that fight was great for Zerton. He kind of seemed to rush into it a little bit, almost like he needed to pressure the situation. He probably does feel under pressure being 2-0 down in the set so far, but it feels like he needs the castle age to be able to even match up in the army quality that has been put out by Puppypaw. More stables going down. He's not looking to back down in the feudal age. He's looking to double down in the feudal age. And yeah, I mean, that looks like it's going to be an interesting play. I'm not sure if it's going to work out very well for Zerton, because castle age units in Age of Empires 4, they do have that large power spike, especially with the Lancers joining into the mix. Most stables are being built now. Zerton does have a decent amount of gold actually. He will be able to tech up soon if he keeps a bit more gold in reserve. The food is getting there as well, so the economy very strong actually. Let's take a look at the village count. 54 for Zerton, 51 for Puppypaw. So the French town centre doing good work here. And if you can get up to the castle age without dying, that would be effective. But what Puppypaw might do, he might be building up his castle age army, just waiting for that notification. We've said it before, I'll say it again. You're often at your most vulnerable when you tech up, because it signals to your opponent that you've spent those resources to age up rather than military, and that could be the signal for Puppypaw to start pushing forward. A knight board is looking to try and get some raiding on that gold mine, flanking in from the right and the south, looking to get some picks here because he does look to try and catch off the army. The army going forward for Puppypaw, those knights will do some good work actually. The gold villagers are going to have to pull back, or at least garrison in the outpost. They're just hanging around in the gold mine. Not ideal. Lancers running in. The knights looking to harass those villagers, but Puppypaw paying attention manages to garrison those villagers. Knights are going to go down to the arrow slits from the towers. This is a problem for Zerton, not getting the value he wanted. Outpost going forward there. Wololo there on the center of the map, looking to get hold of the knights, doesn't quite manage it. Relics being picked up here for Puppypaw. That's really going to solidify his economy and position. Again, slowly creeping there with Puppypaw with the outposts. Now we see the castle age in for the French. Let's see what he went up with. Did he go for the Royal Institute? That's what I'm expecting. Yep, it is indeed the Royal Institute, and he's going to get the veteran knights. He needs that upgrade to come in as soon as he possibly can, especially if Puppypaw looks to go on the aggressive here. He does actually secure the sacred site. Let's take a look at the relic situation. One relic being pulled in for Puppypaw. Already has one in the prayer tent. That's going to be really strong for the economy. 2 relics coming in and a sacred site under the wing of Puppypaw's Mongols. Zerton building a decent amount of stone here, maybe saving up for a keep. We shall see. Villagers getting pushed out there onto the expansion there. Knights there as well. Veteran Royal Knights upgrade has come in. Outpost versus outpost with springwall emplacements. And the second sacred site is being captured by Puppypaw, looking to activate the sacred site timer, forcing Zerton into reaction. He'll need to decap that site at some point. Getting a lot of army here together. Let's take a look at the villager count. 62 now for Zerton. 57 for Puppypaw. Economy is slightly marginally ahead, but let's take a look at the mention because Zerton's got 21. Puppypaw 46. Puppypaw has been in the castle age for a lot longer. Is likely to have the upgrades for the castle age himself as well. Although I don't see a blacksmith. That's actually really curious. I don't see a oh yeah, here we do. There it is. Getting balanced projectiles as well. Getting siege engineering improved. That's going to be really beneficial for the Mongols. It looks to be taking a fight here, pushing on the front line, looking to take down the outpost. Deny that gold. The gold is looking to be under threat here, but it does look like Zerton has moved out further south with outposts. Looking to get hold of the shorefish as well. Very, very good sources of food economy. Being expansive in his expansions And the trebuchets are now starting to be built now that improved siege engineering is on the cards for the Mongols. Mongols are building the mangonels as well. Siege is starting to come out for Puppypaw. And Zerton does send a Royal Knight. They're trying to decap that Sacred Site. Doesn't quite manage it. A Shaman is going to be taken out by the Royal Knights there. More outposts going forward. Looking to keep on creeping into the main base now. And that Sacred Site now is looking to be decapped. Puppypaw will want to try and deny that because he wants that gold income. And there's a good charge attack there for Puppypaw. Definitely a bad trade for Zerton. Puppypaw looking to do a lot of damage. Don't forget though, although having said that, the veteran Royal Knights will have some upgrades in the form of free bloomery. But I'm pretty sure the Lancers there for the Mongols will have them too. And he manages to keep those Lancers on the Sacred Site. Keeps access to that gold trickle. And now the army starting to build up for Puppypaw, pushing forward. 24 military on the field for Zerton, 60 for Puppypaw. This is where things are going to get out of hand for the Mongols. Getting the raid bonus as well by destroying these buildings. The resources really starting to pile up, but Puppypaw doing a fantastic job of spending these resources. Zerton not so much, got 700 odd of food and wood. And Puppypaw really starting to pile in the pressure. Trebuchets on the field. Zerton is looking to be put under pressure very, very soon, unless he has something to say and do about this. Looking to flank around, looking to put the Sacred Site here in the middle as the focus of attention. The Knights looking to raid around and getting the mobility involved of the army. But Puppypaw, slow and methodical, now looking to advance even further. And I think if you're Zerton, you probably just want to delete these buildings rather than handing over the raiding bonus. They keep going here on this gold mine and the shorefish. There's going to be a nice position, but the primary base looks to be at risk. And this is where the landmarks are. This is where a landmark snipe could happen. Zerton's got to be careful. He's expanded to the south, but he must make sure he protects the initial base, because that's where the landmarks are. Well, there's a bit of a raiding party here. A couple of knights going on the wood line, but will be taken down by the garrison villagers in the town centre. Good value there for the Mongols. Okay, second trebuchet now coming out. Every building that Puppypaw destroys, he gets more resources. He can manufacture that into army, and it all starts to spiral out of control. Stables are going down around the influence of the keep. That will actually reduce the cost of production. Having said that, it's only this stable that has the cheaper units now. 112 food and 80 gold versus 140 and 100 gold. Quite an extensive saving when you add it all up. Puppypaw moving on the south part of the base. Again, 2 trebuchets. There are lancers, there are spearmen, and there are veteran archers in the way, standing, knocking at Zerton's door. Zerton's school of cavalry under pressure here. Zerton's going to need to address this relatively quick. He can't just leave this idle, because if he does, then the landmarks are going to get sniped. And that would be the way that Puppypaw could advance to the semi-finals of the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy June finals. And this is the final assault. It almost seems like Zerton pushing forward with the Royal Knights. The archers are getting free hits here. While still tickle the Knights, there's still some damage to be done. Man-at-arms on the front line, Spearmen getting involved, Zerton rushing in now. It doesn't feel like he has the army here. Numbers aren't enough. 23 military for Zerton, 74 for Puppypaw. This is looking bad for Zerton. Taking in a fight, it feels like he has to, but this is looking rough here. The siege is looking to be sniped by Zerton. He does get rid of the mangonel. But ultimately, there aren't even any archers for the mangonel to take care of. It's mostly cavalry here. Zerton retreating, but how far can he retreat? He's under a lot of pressure here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to build this back up. He does have the villager lead, but only by a slight amount. 9 villagers, but don't forget that the prayer tent has been doing great work with the relic count. 3 relics on the field with one of the sacred sites in addition to that. It's definitely going to be making up the difference there. Another trebuchet started to be built. And slowly but surely, Puppypaw is pushing forward. The school cavalry is on fire, about to be destroyed. And now he's going to make his way on to the town centre. Puppypaw really pushing forward now. Zerton looking to get textiles finally. 81 economy, but only 15 military. That's the issue. 83 military on the field for Puppypaw. Puppypaw looking strong here. Now looking to dive. This is the final push. Zerton needs to hold on. This is going to be tough. Zerton struggling to hold on. And yeah, this is going to be rough. Puppypaw, he gets the 3rd game of the set. He seals the deal. He seals his position in the semi-finals, progressing to the finals of the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy June finals. And that means he's going to be facing up against either one out of, we shall take a look actually. It's going to be either Hut or Vortex. And we'll be having that set coming right up next. in terms of the next video. So if you want to see that video, do click on the right hand card screen now. It will be there for you. Take care, guys, and see you next time.